Today we are covering rule sets and scaling rule sets on TikTok and Facebook, as well as testing rule sets. And now there's arguably not a campaign that I'll run without a rule set parameter added. Facebook has changed the way that they apply rule sets. TikTok is the same. So TikTok is still always manual. Facebook has put in certain presets that you can kind of split test with to optimize the ad and see if that ad performs better with the rule set. So without further ado, let me show you my manual rule sets first. There's two that I apply. This is famously known by me as the accordion method. So we're essentially extrapolating the audience and then we're tightening them with other parameters, okay? If you don't know what a rule set is and this is your first time using rule sets, think of it like stop losses if you're trading. So if you're a stock trader, you're gonna have stop losses to prevent basically you losing your entire trade value, right? So if you invest $10,000 and the stock plummets, as opposed to if you losing $10,000, if your stop loss was set at $500, you would lose $500, so you'd have $9,500 less. Once you contextualize that, it's almost a no-brainer, the fact that you would have rule sets applied to your campaigns. Some are gonna be advanced, some are gonna be basic. So I'll just go ahead and I'll filter through the ones that I use first. And then if you have any questions or concerns, you can go ahead and drop it in the comments below. So first things first, let's look at some of the template presets that Facebook has added. So as we see here, we see reduce auction overlap, optimize ad creative, and reduce audience fragmentation, okay? So this is gonna spend their budgets more efficiently by combining their audiences. So this is if you have, let's say, a bunch of different interests and only a few are performing well, Facebook's gonna basically take those performing interests and take your active campaigns and optimize them, as opposed to you having to turn off the campaign, look at new interests, add new interests, turn off interests. This is gonna take your entire campaign and kind of optimize that automatically for you. So it's like a more enhanced CBO if you think about it. And if you understand what a CBO is and what its attempt is to give you the best performing ad and to improve the budget on that best performing ad. Okay, so this is gonna help improve those metrics. Now, optimize ad creative. This is if you have multiple creatives. So you remember when I was talking to you guys about always having video, carousel, and a picture ad? This is a rule set that you're gonna wanna apply to those campaigns because it's gonna optimize the ones that are performing the most effectively for that customer or that audience base. Reduce auction overlap. This is if you have like 100 campaigns. So think about massive brands, right? And, you know, think about like the surf scaling method and stuff like that. If you're starting to throw a bunch of money at campaigns, what you'll notice is it's going to reach the same people over and over and over again. I know every single one of the people in this chat, when you turn on YouTube, you get the same ads over and over and over again. Right now, I'm getting a lot of Fitbit ads for whatever reason. Maybe it's trying to tell me something. But essentially, the ad that I get over and over and over again is always Fitbit. And I think what they're doing is they're just throwing a massive amount of budget at it, either at the initial ad or the retargeting ad is like anybody that's viewed the ad already, just show them over and over and over again. And they're probably thinking about that principle. It's like the Pavlov's dog theory, essentially, where you're like training the mind over and over again to just get accustomed to seeing that type of content. Because they said the average interaction between a product like that and somebody purchasing is like 7 to 12, right? But if you're looking at a dropshipping product where it's typically like a wow factor, you know, it could take 1 or 2. So don't think of the Pavlov's dog theory as like a dropshipping product. Think of, you know, these rule sets are just going to help you prevent the loss of money. Now, custom rules, this is where we get our hands dirty, okay? So the most famous rule name that I name is ROAS bonus. So think of it like slots, right? You're playing slots, you hit a bonus, what happens? You have more odds and more chances to win that jackpot. Think about it in the same context for a second, okay? Okay, what we're gonna be doing is we are going to be doing this for all active campaigns because this is important. Now, if you're running traffic or another type of metric, like with affiliate, sometimes people don't do conversions, they do reach and stuff like that. It's getting weird, right? But if you're doing just standard dropshipping, it's always going to be conversion campaigns. So you're going to do all active campaigns. It's at the campaign level, all right? You're going to want to increase daily budget by, and then it's going to be percentage. And this figure is going to be 25%. 25% with a maximum daily budget cap of $250. Now, this is my parameters, okay? So this is what I run. If I'm running a campaign, my daily campaign budget is always going to be $250. That's the cap. Anything more than that, it starts getting funky. The metrics start performing awkward. I've been seeing a lot of DMs or not DMs, but messages in the Discord about people saying, hey, what do you think of the TikTok metrics? They haven't been performing well, or Facebook hasn't been performing well. Well, you're losing money because you don't have rule sets preventing it from performing well, or rewarding it for performing well, right? So think about it like a kid. If a kid is performing badly in school and you make no changes or adjustments to how they're performing in school, they're going to continue to perform bad, and then you're going to blame it on the kid, when in reality it should be punished so that the kid witnesses what he's doing is bad. He doesn't replicate those actions again, and the kid will realize, hey, I have to start doing good if I'm going to get the things that I want. The ad sets are the same. They're like little kids running around misbehaving, and it's your job to be the teacher, to put them into a group and say, hey, sit down, shut up. This is what we're doing. I want you guys to all be good. All right? So we're looking for website purchase ROAS is greater than 1.8. Now, this number is going to vary. All right? It's going to be important for you to calculate min R, which is minimum ROAS, right? So if your product is like $40 and your average cost per acquisition is $20, but the product cost is $18, you're going to be making $2 an order. That's not profitable, right? So you're going to want to sit there and determine your product price, and then come up with your minimum ROAS of like actually wanting to spend more money on that campaign. For most people, it's going to be between 1.6 and 1.8, right? So that's pretty much what I would set it at. For now, I'll set it to 1.6. So 1.66 ROAS, you're probably looking at 8 to 12% margins. 1.8, you're probably looking at 15 to 18% margins, okay? If you want to be crazy, set it to 2. But most campaigns at scale aren't going to be getting 2x ROAS. They're going to be getting between 1.4 and 1.7. So let's go 1.8. Website purchase ROAS is greater than 1.8. We're going to increase the daily budget by 25%, and we're going to do it once hourly. So that means it's going to basically monitor this campaign. If the campaign is getting 1.8x ROAS every hour, it'll continue to increase the budget by 25% until the campaign budget optimization campaign, or the actual campaign, I said CBO, the actual campaign reaches a daily cap of $250. Now, let's say you're already at the point where you're spending $250 per campaign, then I would set this to $750, because that'll be 3 triggers essentially, a little bit more than that. But it'll be like 7 or 8 triggers of the 25% bonus increase. Because remember, it compounds. So it's like you bump it up 25%. That's $125 if it's $100. Then it'll compound 25% of $125. So keep that in mind, right? It's compounding not just 25%. You can change this to actual numerical values, right? So if you want to bump it up by $25, just to keep it clean, you can do that as well. I always do the percentages because I think it just works better, in my opinion. All right, so the schedule is just continuously. You want this running all the time. Now, I set it to all campaigns, right? Let's say you don't want all active campaigns to do this. You have different structures, right? Some you're not running CBO. Maybe you have some rule sets in there, or not rule sets, sorry. Maybe you have some bid cap campaigns. Maybe you're just running different offers. You don't have to set it for all campaigns, okay? So you can set it to the actual campaign, which is what we have here. You can set it to active ad sets. You can set it to the active ad, so it doesn't even have to be on the ad set level. And that's when you start doing different stuff, like turning off the ad if the click-through rate is below 2.5% and stuff like that, all right? So that's how you would turn off those ads. So think about this as like this giant spider web. You have all these different options to go and navigate to, and it's going to require some tinkering, right? Continuously, and then we're going to create that rule set. Okay, so remember, that was the ROAS boost, right? So I'll give you an example of what an accordion method. So think of the accordion as we're expanding. We just gave it permission to do better, as in, hey, if you perform well, you're going to get candy. Keep performing well. Facebook wants to make money, so they want to spend more money. It's part of the program. Now, if you want to not lose money, you want Facebook to be slapped on the wrist when they start performing bad, right? Just like somebody at school would if you were a bad kid, as that analogy went. So now we're going to create the exact opposite, okay? And this is going to protect your budget. So ROAS punishment, ROAS bonus, ROAS punishment. You see where we're going with this? So we're going to apply this to all active campaigns, the exact same thing. Action, turn off campaigns. Now let's take a look at this, okay? At the different options. We have increased daily budget by, decreased daily budget by, increased lifetime budget by, decreased lifetime budget by. So here's the kicker. you have the decreased daily budget option. And this is something to consider. So if you want your campaigns like me, where I have a little bit more bankroll behind me, and maybe I let the bad performing kids have a little bit more leg room, just because I'm like, I want to see, maybe that's going to spawn some curiosity in the kid. I'm going to give them a little bit more of leeway than, let's say, a teacher that isn't used to dealing with bad kids. So I'm used to dealing with bad campaigns. And sometimes when you let them run and let them figure it out and let them go through the learning phase, they'll self-optimize. So a way to prevent you from losing all of your daily budget is to decrease the daily budget. Okay, so what you would do is the exact same setup, but as opposed of improving the budget, if the metric is 1.8, you would decrease the budget if the metric falls below a certain rate. And that rate has to be below 1. Because what will happen is if the ROAS goes above 1, it'll decrease the budget and it'll conflict with the other rule set. So what you ideally want it to do is fall below 1. So I would do like 0.9, 0.8, decrease budget by 75%. And you're just going to let that kind of roll and run. All right. Now, what I particularly do too is I turn off the campaigns. So what I'll do is I'll actually go in, turn off the campaign, and is it all good? All right, cool. I'll go in and I'll turn off the campaign, and then I'll just make sure that essentially, basically there's no more money being spent in that campaign if it's performing poorly. So now let's create the punishment campaign, okay? So the cost per result, we're gonna go to ROAS, website purchase ROAS, and then we can set between 0.5 to 0.9 time range, maximum, continuously. And then what that'll do is if any ROAS campaign, actually we'll probably want to give it the full range, 0.1 to 0.9, that's what I do. So if the ROAS range is below 1, it'll turn off the campaign. This is something that's really important. This is the ROAS punishment campaign. So essentially what I've said here is, as you can see, the website purchase ROAS is between 0.1 and 0.9. Okay, so if the ROAS hits those numbers, it's just going to shut off the campaign, and it'll give us an email notification as well. So now we have rules, manage rules, ROAS punishment, and ROAS bonus. Okay, so let me just show you this really quick. ROAS bonus, increase daily budget by 25% if purchase ROAS is greater than 1.8. Once again, you want to set this as the minimum ROAS, okay? So whatever you're making profit on, if it's 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, you always want to reward those campaigns. And this goes for testing and for scaling, okay? So this is really what's important for testing, is the punishment. Because if you're testing a product and it's not performing well, you just want to cut your losses. There's no reason of you burning money. There's no more magic number that you have to reach to. I think everybody thinks, oh, I have to spend $50. Well, I have to spend $100 to see if the product's going to get sales. It's not always the case, okay? If a product is a winner, you know pretty quickly that it's a winner. You're going to get sales even at low budgets. If the product is absolutely trash, there's no reason for you to just basically burn through $100. All right, so that's something to consider. The ROAS bonus, once again, the analogy of the kid. If it's performing bad, you want to punish it. If it's performing good, you want to give it a treat and a candy so it continues to perform well. Increase daily budget by 25% if the website purchase ROAS is greater than 1.8. Now, these are manual rule sets. This was an automatic rule set from one of the templates. Okay, so let's go back to the rules, and I'll show you one of the template ones. So we're going to go to rules, create a new rule, optimize ads. So we're going to reduce audience fragmentation, and we're going to see in detail what that does when we manage rules. Combine ad sets, audiences, and budgets automatically. Okay, so this is Facebook's version of a CBO on Facebook or on TikTok. All right, optimizing stuff like this when you don't know it can be difficult. Like, these are just two essential rules that everybody should be applying to every single campaign that they have. When we really start diving into rule sets, you're going to be spending more time here than you actually will in the ads manager side of things. Because when I'm looking at ad optimization, like the actual creative, and I'm going in and I'm turning off ads that have CTRs below certain metrics, or I'm turning off campaigns that have CTRs below certain metrics as well, not just on the ad level, but actually on the engagement side. It's very important. Retargeting campaigns with rule sets is also amazing. So if you're going to apply rule sets to retargeting campaigns to basically have frequency caps, so like a person can only see it once per day, that way they're not bombarded and all your budget is just going towards the 100 people that clicked on your ad yesterday. That's super important to have. Frequency capacities, stuff like that. This is like advanced end game level shit. This is like Activision Rockstar advertising, GTA 6 level rule sets that you want to apply, where they have $10 million a day that they're spending in ads. It's not just about reaching everybody. It's about reaching everybody once and then retargeting the ones that are actually interested. And how do you do that? You can't just throw $10 million at a budget. Every single ad on the platform will be GTA 6. There's only really 2 rules that I apply on TikTok as well. It's super easy to do. Let's create some automated rules for TikTok. Okay, so custom rules, schedule delivery, unlock potential, enhance performance, control budget. Okay, so they give you basically the templates that I created on Facebook manually. Enhance performance is just automatic, so the lifetime budget spend rate is greater, the real-time cost per acquisition is less than, adjust lifetime budget by blah blah blah. So it's lifetime budget shit. It's not actual daily stuff. So we're gonna create a custom rule, and we're gonna say real-time cost per acquisition Okay, so this is what we're considering here, right? The real-time conversions, and this is going to optimize every 24 hours from yesterday's campaign. Let's say it was your CPA strike price is $15, right? You want $15 CPAs. You would go $15.99, then notify me, adjust daily budget to, I want it percentage based, increase by 25% with a maximum daily budget cap of $250. Adjust frequency cap once every 24 hours. Well, no, you don't want that. Only once, and we're gonna do it by 50%. Sorry. And yeah, it's once every 24 hours because it's following the real-time conversion rate from yesterday. Okay, so now we're gonna run this every 30 minutes. Notify me every time. Also notify me if conditions aren't met. So basically what that'll say is, hey, you didn't get CPAs under $16. These conditions weren't met, therefore we didn't bump your budget. So this is basically the same thing. I like to call it it's like a cherry picking or honey potting rule set. Okay, so what you're saying is if the real-time conversions yesterday were below a certain threshold, bump the budgets tomorrow by 25% with a maximum daily budget of $250. This is a way that you can basically create a campaign on Monday, and by Thursday it's automatically scaling. So like when I was away, I had rule sets that were basically optimizing the campaigns for deducting the budgets and improving the budgets consistently. And that's something that's super important, because if you don't have that, you're basically just looking at, you have to be attached to your screen 24/7. I had it on real-time conversions. So real-time conversions could be like if you're running reach or traffic campaigns, whatever your conversion is set at, that you actually manually set it to, it'll actually swap that out to that. And that's something that you don't want. Otherwise, it's going to increase your budget. If you're like conversion rate, if you're going for traffic, it's going to increase it by 16, or if it's below $16, it'll bump it. You don't want that. Real-time cost per acquisition. It wasn't there when I initially said it, and then when I changed it, it's there. So once again, real-time cost per acquisition, that's the same thing for Facebook. So think about it as conversions. When I spoke about it on Facebook, you're not optimizing these rule sets for traffic campaigns or reach campaigns. It's only for conversion campaigns, okay? So yesterday, less than $16. Once again, this figure will be completely up to you. It doesn't have to be $16. It can be whatever strike price you want it to be. I know guys in the space that have cost per acquisitions of $28, $29, and it's ludicrously profitable. So let's set it to $29. So that's pretty much what you're looking at, right? So this is going to be your strike price. Same thing that I said to calculate on Facebook. It's going to be what you have to do now, all right? So like, you have to do some math with your cost per acquisitions. You have to determine where you're profitable, where you break even, where you're making 8 to 12, where you're making 15 to 18%, and then go from there, all right? So, but just for the sake of this, I'm just going to create it at $15. Complete that rule set, frequency cap, once every 24 hours. Okay, so this is going to self-optimize that actual campaign. Confirm. Boom. Now let's create a rule set that's going to do the same thing but punish it. All right. So this is for a negative performing campaign. This is great for testing. This is great for scaling. I can literally go into your ad account. If you guys ever want to hire consulting, I can go into your ad account. I can manually apply rule sets where you can just fucking relax and you can sit down and it's going to self-optimize, or it's going to deduct the ads that aren't performing well. That I don't charge a lot for because it takes me 20 minutes. So if you're interested in that, DM me. But I can go in and I can manually apply rule sets to where you can just basically create ad accounts, or sorry, not ad accounts, but ads as quickly and as fast as you want, and you're always never going to break below profitability. You might blow a couple bucks where you're testing or you're trying to get to that point, but the amount of money that you're going to save with rule set optimization is unreal. I remember doing this back in like 2019, 2018 on Facebook, and it was unreal, literally night and day in differences. Let me do it again. I know what's happening, by the way. I know why it's doing that. It's always when I reopen it, because I'm testing to make sure my camera isn't shutting off. We should be good. All right, so back to it. Now let's do the punishment campaign, okay? So condition, real-time CPA, yesterday is greater than, all right? We want to do is between. So now we're going to look at the actual amount that you're losing money. So I can immediately tell once, you know, if this is something that you want me to do, or if you guys just want to learn from this video, that's totally cool too. But if you have a price in mind that you know is unprofitable, and sometimes it kind of hovers there, that's what you want to input here. So for me, most of my products, it starts becoming unprofitable between $17 and $24. Right? And then basically you can create another rule set to where if it's above $24, you can turn it off. So we can add a condition where where is it here? It would have to be a separate campaign. My bad. I thought it would allow me to double down it, but it's not. Then turn off right every 30 minutes. Notify every time. Also notify me if conditions aren't met. All right. Now watch this. One more. That's how fast it is. You should have this all the time. Real-time CPA. Yesterday, it's greater than 24, which is our in-between. Remember, that's the range where it's not shutting off. So if it goes above $24, turn that shit off. Then turn off on every 30. Notify me if conditions aren't met. Complete. So now on our Facebook ads, how long did that take? 20 minutes, 25 minutes? On our Facebook ad campaign, we have turn off campaigns if website purchase is between 0.1 and 0.9. The fragmentation audience campaign, which is automatic. So it's going to self-optimize the campaigns that we have multiple interests, multiple ads in. We have all the different parameters that we're basically setting to test and give Facebook data. They're going to optimize that for us automatically. And then we're going to improve the existing ads that are performing well by improving the daily budget by 25% if the website ROAS is above 1.8%, or sorry, 1.8. Okay, so think about that. Without that, you guys are running bareback. You're in there raw, bro. You're going in there raw. You guys want to make sure that you guys have some protection on you. Okay, so this is the protection. This is going to protect your wallet. This is going to protect essentially your ad account to make sure that it's running effectively and you're not burning cash. And you guys are basically, I know this is definitely new and you guys didn't know about that. That's definitely Facebook's way of creating a self-optimizing CBO campaign that TikTok has and has had for a very long time. TikTok, same rules. You have one that's going to turn off poor performing campaigns, one that's going to improve the budgets of campaigns that are performing well, and one that's going to strike it out if they're between a certain range where you're like, I don't want to spend money on campaigns with a CPA between $17 and $24. I'd rather have the budget go towards campaigns that are below that. Okay, so that's rule sets. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is FSIC.